try to live stream. I'll also record in a second.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
And I'll also post it on YouTube in a week after I rest. After I rest from this week. Okay, hello, hi everybody. We are live on the Facebook group as well. Ladies, you won't want to miss this talk. Oh, I see somebody's just joining on the Zoom call as well. Ladies, you really will not want to miss this talk. Lucy is a superhero. We talked this morning about sheroes. So given her life story as well as everything that she's been recently through, I really consider her a super shero. So I'm so happy that she's here with us and she accepted the invitation. I'm just going to give a few moments first. We'll use the first couple of minutes to allow everybody to jump in, all the ladies joining us on the Zoom call or on the Facebook Live. Hi, Winnie. Winnie is joining us on Zoom. And she's joining from Kenya, from Nairobi.
Beautiful.
And I'm super happy that you are here, Winnie, with us. How did you find the morning session? Maybe you can share a few thoughts. I would love to hear how you found the morning session. You can write in the chat. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Really great.
Yeah, the morning session was really great, and I got to understand self-expression in a very different way. So there are actually very many things that affect how we express ourselves, and there's again so many ways in which we can work on our self-expression, which was really nice.
Thank you for sharing that. Yes, it's so important, and I congratulate you for joining in the afternoon as well, because Lucy it's her specialty actually, self-expression and expressing oneself in life and business in a way that is aligned with your true authentic self. So I can't wait for you to experience her magic and her medicine. Welcome, Lucy. I'm gonna introduce.
So grateful to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're super welcome. So if you're joining, for the ladies joining on Facebook Live, please don't forget to type in where you're joining from. Don't forget to say hi. This is going to be a very interactive and very free flow style type of interview today. So please don't hesitate to jump in, ask questions. I'm going to check the two chats from time to time, especially here on Facebook, as I know a lot of you prefer to watch the live on Facebook. So don't hesitate to jump in and ask questions and share reflections at any moment, and also share where you're joining us from. Okay, so with that said, I want to warmly welcome once again our guest speaker for day 3 of the Mastermind on Self-Love and Self-Growth, Mastering Your Purpose. And we were actually just talking about purpose and how our purpose is ever changing and carrying us into new directions just before the call. And I'm gonna first of all let you know a few details about Lucy. For those of you joining just for the first time and who don't know anything about any of us, I'm saying hello. I'm Alina Cristina Buteica. I'm a sacred femininity and leadership and business coach. And I warmly invite you to the Mastermind. I'm your host for the Mastermind. And the ladies that I'm inviting to be as guest speakers are some of the luminaries and the beautiful business women and light workers that I see shining in the world that deserve to have a bigger and bigger voice, because they are really bringing gifts that we can all benefit from here. So let me introduce Lucy. Lucy is an international singer, songwriter, soul sound alchemist, and high on life coach. I love that. Originally from Hamburg, Germany, and she's joining us from Hamburg, Germany today. Her heartfelt desire is to create music and sound experiences for people to deeply rest and relax and reconnect to their heart space. We actually talked a lot about the heart and the heart space on day one when we touched on, we actually journeyed pretty deep with self-love and self-worth. Lucy supports people in finding their own voice and expressing their own truth in unique and powerful ways. Before moving to Honolulu in 2011, I will want to hear about that journey in a moment, Lucy. Before moving to Honolulu, Hawaii in 2011, she traveled the globe for 5 years with her backpack and her guitar to find the song of her own soul, singing with people all over the world and studying the healing power of sound and frequencies. With gongs, voice, guitar, ocean drum, this feels so beautiful, and crystal singing bowls, she now creates a peaceful oasis for deep relaxation and ease. Her live channeled meditations, and I hope you're going to get a taster today of that, her live channeled meditations always carry a magical message for everyone. Mostly, but not exclusively, our inner child and yearning hearts. And with that said, welcome, Lucy. How are you, dear?
Thank you so much. Well, I'm very grateful. I feel very humbled on many levels in these days, and I'm going to share a little bit about why I'm saying that. I feel like I've been really called very, very, very deeply into my own soul. I've been called very, very deeply into a transformation that I usually was very busy creating for others. I always create these beautiful transformational experiences for the people around me, and have the tendency then to forget about me. And so now life has really taken care of me and pulled me in full force. So that's how I am right now.
That's beautiful. To give you a little bit of a background of how I met Lucy, I already started sharing a little bit this morning. Lucy made me cry. That's how I met Lucy. But in a good and in a powerful way. We actually met on another coaching program that we both signed up for, and she shared a little bit of her medicine with me, and in particular, one of her songs. She composes songs that are, and I'm going to invite you to share more about that in a moment as well, songs that are based on the gene keys and the gene key profiling method. And the song she shared with me, which is about a gene key that we both, it's part of our main profile, and we both have in common. Truly, truly, the moment I heard the first few lines of it, I just teared up, as if it was as if my heart was being pulled open, and I could hear a choir of angels singing to me, "This is truly who you are. Yes, you deserve to hear this, Alina. Yes, you are that magical. Yes, you are that powerful. Yes, you are that amazing." And yeah, I'm ever so grateful since then. And yeah, that's my first question actually to you, Lucy. Can you share to us a little bit? We'll start from there actually, about what you do, about your soul medicine at this moment, in the sense of your creations so far, and what inspired you to get there.
Yeah, thank you. So for me, my whole life, it has always been about taking whatever is going on within and expressing it. Like it started as a child when I felt like some unease and this and that. I would like literally, make up songs, create poetry, write mini theater plays, and would already bring it out. It already started very early, like in elementary school. I would create these really funky pieces of art, so to speak. And that carried itself through my whole life, where puberty hit me very hard, like a big black train. And that's really when I discovered my voice because I was singing out the pain that I was feeling about the changing, about about that big transformation and that transitioning into like womanhood, because I was always more like a tomboy. I was my best friends were all boys, and I was like with a bicycle climbing trees and all of that, like wearing my blue jeans, and then it was this whole thing of, oh my God, now the boys are acting weird around me and all those things. So all of that, what was going on within, I just started expressing through my voice. That then brought me into a very early kind of like, career path of becoming a singer. But I always utilized it as a form of expression. It was always about, I think that's why I went from studying musical theater, I went to studying just theater, because I wanted to just learn how to really express everything that is in there so it doesn't feel stuck. I don't feel stuck. Nothing feels, held back anymore. And that's when I started writing my first one-woman show, which I performed for 4 years all over Germany, like in my early 20s. And it was kind of an alter ego character that I created that was speaking the truth completely. But the good news was I could always pretend it's not me because it was this character I created. So I would always take my real life stories and share them from the point of view of that character. It was very fun. It was very interactive. And yet I ended up in a burnout situation. But always when things happened, it was always about expressing the pain, the joy, the sadness, the freedom, the grieving, what was going on. And therefore, I very quickly wanted to support others in doing that, because I saw that around me, there's so many, especially women, who feel like their voice is trapped. I see when I look at women, and it's funny because women have a lot of thyroid problems in these days. And the thyroid has the butterfly, looks like a butterfly. And for me, my whole life is the analogy of a butterfly. Like everything that I work with, usually I bring back to that metaphor because it's so powerful. And for me, when I look at a woman that comes to me and tells me that, I want to sing, I cannot, I want to speak my truth, I cannot, for me, it's always, I see this beautiful butterfly, but it's trapped in a cage. And all that we then need to do is kind of like really just open that up again, open the doors, open the doors of that cage, and let that bird, that butterfly, that winged creature, so to speak, fly again. And so the coming in touch with these gene keys has been a big blessing, because I've been very, a traditional singer-songwriter, created my one-woman show in Germany, was very much in touch with my intuition, only followed my impulses and intuitions. That also led me to Hawaii. We're going to talk about that later. But therefore, it was always about really being true to myself and following that whisper, following that song. And along that journey, I found the gene keys.
Wonderful,
well,
wonderful.
We found each other, right? And
after I don't know how many women are here familiar with the gene keys. I just asked this question on Facebook. I didn't see any replies yet.
Perfect.
If you were to summarize a little bit what the gene keys is about, before you go into the extension of that, which is your songs based on the gene keys.
Yeah.
How would you describe the gene keys as a methodology?
Okay. So the gene keys is basically like a synthesis of how do we call it, practical wisdom, right? And that really helps us guide, so we understand really deeper who we are in the world, who we can be in the world, and our deeper potential. And it is, the gene keys are based on the ancient Chinese I Ching, on the hexagrams. And so each hexagram represents one of the gene keys, and each hexagram / gene key, or in human design, if you're familiar with that, it's the gates. It has, in the gene key synthesis, it has 3 different frequencies. And I think for me, that language is so beautiful because I work mainly with music. So I had a very easy way into the gene keys because I could immediately, frequency, okay, harmony, I have to bring things back into harmony. Every gene key has 3 different frequencies: a shadow frequency, a gift frequency, and a very high frequency, which is called the city frequency. And each one of those frequencies has usually a different very powerful words that he's using. And sometimes they're even harsh words, like the shadow could be greed, right? But then you have like these beautiful, like the cities are like virtue and bounteousness, boundlessness. Like the cities make you already feel like you want to spread your wings.
Expanded.
And fly. It's expansion. So it goes, it's almost like it goes from, again, like the caterpillar butterfly, it goes from that contraction, cocooning, shadow frequency, through the gift, the imaginal cells in the butterfly that create the wings, to the city frequency, which kind of gives you the wind beneath your wings. I mean, this was a very poetic way to
yeah, absolutely. And I will also bring with my Capricorn, speaking of astrology, my groundedness. I'm gonna share a little bit of how I got exposed to the gene keys. I was always passionate about as a leadership coach, I work with different methods to understand somebody's profiling and personality. And I've actually gone deeper with the energy healing studies and courses that I did and certifications into understanding at a soul level somebody's makeup. So the gene keys are actually a body of knowledge. You can see it as our energetic DNA, because we don't only have, I'm going to explain it in like very simplistic terms. If Richard Rudd hears this interview, apologies, Grandmaster. I'm going to explain it in even simplistic terms that I got to see. It's like our energetic DNA. We only have a energetic DNA that basically, or you get it as well as an astrological map, what natural tendencies, and within each of those DNA, each of the gene keys that your own different levels of it. So like Lucy was sharing, that's a particular gene key or DNA string, energetic DNA string in you, or DNA.
Hello? Winnie, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here. Okay. Probably internet issue.
I think it's just you and I right now. So we're still on Facebook.
Sure.
I think Alina went traveling for a moment here.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious. So I think I'm just gonna jump right back in quickly to pick it up from there. So talking about the magical gene keys, what has shifted and changed over time in my career, so to speak, was that I was very focused on being a singer and songwriter, and I wanted to be a rock star, musical performer. My goal was to go to Broadway, so that was my main focus. And then coming in touch with this beautiful work of the gene keys more and more so, even though my music always had the people were always saying your music is healing, and it always came from that spiritual place. But with the gene keys, it got even more intentional. So 2 years ago, I started going on that journey to really deeply dive into these beautiful keys. And then about almost a year ago in October, I decided with a friend of mine, after we've been going through the whole book of the gene keys once, we decided to go through the book again. And I decided to channel a song for each one of the gene keys every week, every Monday. And so this is now, oh my goodness, I think we have only 7 gene keys to go. So there's like 50 something songs that have been born, gene key songs, over the last 9, almost 10 months now. So that has been very, very powerful, and also a very humbling experience. So that is where the musical journey has really shifted things, and where it was really about listening to the wisdom of Richard Rudd, listening to the wisdom of the women on each call that we were having for each gene key. And so therefore we decided to create all of these songs weekly, but it was for me different because the songs were not so much about me and about what I experienced. They were really born out of deeply listening to the wisdom of the amazing Richard Rudd. Alina, I just kind of like took the...
Yes, my apologies. The Portuguese internet fell today of all days. I was running around and actually making everybody here express themselves.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm the highlight of this beautiful place I'm in this week, the co-working hub. They all know that I'm doing a mastermind, and they all prayed that the technology, the internet connection works well throughout the week. But you know, I'm being faced with learning how to deal with all challenges.
Yeah.
We're human. As long as we live in human bodies, we got to learn how to face all types of challenges, right? So I'm so grateful to them that they immediately jumped in to help, men and women all together. And thank you, Lucy, for continuing the talk. I'm so happy that the it's still live. We're still live on Facebook.
We're still live. And I just shared a little bit about my journey, how I arrived at writing the Gene Key songs. So that was basically
wonderful. Yes, that's what I was going to ask you next. Wonderful, wonderful. So, ladies, if you have any questions at any point in the chat, please don't hesitate to jump in. Also on Facebook, on the Facebook Live. Thank you for waiting for me as well to come back, and thank you, Lucy, for sharing. My next question for you was actually speaking about your journey and your journey of expression. I was really fascinated with learning that you took your time, and I really do encourage women to do so as well. I also had my own sabbatical journey at some point in my life back in 2019. And you really also took your time to understand your own soul song, which is the journey that led you to Hawaii. Can you share with us a little bit about that, and what were some of the defining moments of you finding your own unique soul song?
And it's very funny, you know, it's very profound actually that we're having this conversation when I'm really back where it all began. I'm in my parents' house right now, back in northern Germany, in my childhood room, literally. And I haven't been here for for 4 years. And so it was literally the seed was planted really here in this house, where I started having this really deep yearning of seeing the world with my own eyes. I didn't quite believe what people were telling me in school. I didn't quite believe what I was reading in history books and all of it. I always felt like I want to see it for myself. And it's so beautiful. Winnie, actually, one of the places was always what fascinated me was Africa. And so one of the first places I traveled to by myself on that journey of finding my soul song was actually Zanzibar, which is a beautiful island near Dar es Salaam. And it was a very deeply life-changing experience. I was invited to go to a school there and do music and basic English with children in a school in Zanzibar. And I was there for about 3 months back in the days. And it was a very, very, very heart-opening and life-changing experience. And after that was actually when I really felt like, I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna just keep going. And so the problem was that I was in the middle of my one-woman show. I had a management, I had a relationship. My parents had just bought me an apartment, and I was pretty much set up for outer success. And on the inside, after coming home from that beautiful experience, I felt like it's all wrong. This is not what it's about. And so I was in this big conflict situation where my mind was like, you have to just keep going. And my heart was like, just sell it all, give it all away. You just keep your guitar and you just go and you just go and play. And it took me a while, and it took me actually almost 9 months. And with anxiety attacks, with panic attacks, with I ended up in the emergency room several times because I thought I had a tumor in my brain. I thought I had a heart attack because I was in this process of letting go. But I didn't understand that. I just didn't understand. And the moment when I really decided and I said, I'm going to listen, I'm no longer resisting. I broke up my relationship. I told my parents I'm going to move out of the apartment. I gave all of my stuff away and only a few things back to my parents' house. And I applied for a job, very bad pay, but the most amazing experience, a traveling company where I was invited to play music with children in nature.
Wow.
And that was the start for me. So my first destination was Italy. I was booked in Tuscany and then Sardinia and then Tuscany again. And then it just kept going from Spain, Greece, Portugal, Andalusia. It was just everywhere. And it was just me, my backpack, living in castles, living in a tent. I was leading a tent camp, living in an old monastery, living in all different places because I was just so guided by something so gracious, and I literally, with no compromise, I just followed that. And then the next thing was that I had a dream where I flew around the head of the Statue of Liberty and it said to me, come home. And I was like, oh my God. Because Europe was still kind of comfortable. And then now I was like, okay, now I have to do that. So long story short, I flew to New York first. I had never been to the United States. Here I was already in my mid-20s. I thought Big Apple was a building. So for me, I was like, I had no idea what I was up for. And I went there, except Broadway was always the thing I knew what that was, right? So I went there and I went to Broadway and I was like, oh my God, this is great. And the next intuition I got was I have to travel all the way from New York to the West Coast. But I'm not allowed to take a plane. And so I gave myself 2 months really on faith. And I hitchhiked, I took a train and buses. I slept at strangers' houses and I started calling myself a traveling poet. And so I would go up to strangers and sometimes I look back and I'm like, who was this woman? But I would go up to strangers in a coffee shop and would sing them a song and would say, would you be open to let me stay with you or buy me a meal for me playing you a song? And it worked. It was just the most incredible way. I traveled with so much love and acceptance and people took me in and I was literally just trusting the flow. And then when I was in San Diego, someone invited me to go to Hawaii. And when I landed on the big island of Hawaii and I stepped off of the airplane, I will never forget that. And my feet touched that lava airplane field. I was like, okay, this is it, man. I called and my mom still tells me the story. She's like, you called me from there and you were like, I found my place. And after, my parents were definitely worried that when is this child going to find a place, only travel.
We share a little bit of that as well because my parents have always kept asking me where I am deciding to grow roots, and it's finally Portugal. It's my second coming back to Portugal, and this is where it actually feels very much like home and growing roots here and anchoring from here. So I can totally resonate with that feeling, that inkling feeling that you got in your whole body when you touched the soil and the lava of Hawaii. So yeah, thank you. That's so beautiful, and I believe it actually encourages women to trust everything that you shared, to trust. There's so certain highlights I want to make from everything that you shared. Like I love extracting lessons, like trust your intuition, ladies. Trust where it leads you. I love the fact that it's very interesting to notice that when you were opposing the calling, those 9 months that you mentioned, when you were going against your inner gut and feeling and your inner calling, it was like everything was crumbling from the inside out. The body was panicking, anxiety attacks. Actually, a lot of people worldwide are facing that at the moment. And I'm not saying that everything is caused by not listening to one's heart's wishes or heart's desires, but some of it at least is. It's from a lack of listening within. Self-expression, we were talking about it this morning, starts from learning how to listen, not necessarily voice. We voice after we learn how to listen with deep within. So I really want to honor that, your 9 months journey of rebirth, and that pushed you into finally listening. And then when you started listening, it's so the second lesson that I got out of your story here is this: how magical our experience of life and business becomes when we listen to the intuitive hints we get, and that opens doors. Like you were traveling to absolutely fascinating locations that I believe a lot of people would love to get to see. All of those fabulous locations and the people that you met along the way. It's like universe opening. When you said yes to your heart, the universe went, yes, here you go, a window, a door, another a castle, on and on and on and on and on. So how do you know you're on the right track, ladies? Just follow the signs. And I don't want to go too much into esotericism either, because I know it's a balance. Speaking of the feminine and the masculine, we need to stay grounded as well. But as women, and because the topic is feminine energy, and this is a women's mastermind, as women, we really have to acknowledge this, that our intuition gets to be the guiding torch and the guiding light of our journey. And when we make it so, also everything that has to do with business decisions, with friends that are aligned or not, with locations that are aligned or not with us, with jobs, with companies that are aligned or not with us, everything becomes suddenly more clear. So Lucy, can you share with us a little bit about after that journey and leading up to where you are today? What's your unique methodology that you developed when working with women in your practice and in your coaching? I know Jinkies is a part of it. What else is part of it?
So it's a whole variety, right? Because my background is so vast. So it's the theater world. I also studied Gestalt therapy. And then there's my whole sound healing, sound alchemy side of it. But one of the main things that I really utilize in my work is fun. And it's all about being less serious and really more curious. And that's specifically when women come to me and they want to sing, because with the singing, there is so much, it's either we take it too serious and we want it to be perfect, or we have been told that we're not sounding good enough, we're not sweet enough. As women, we have been told a lot of times, shut up, be quiet, sit down, psst, you're too loud, all those voices. And a lot of times they're still somewhere present, even when they're hiding. And so my favorite thing is always, because that's the way I learned to really heal a lot of my own traumas and experiences in the past, was to take those elements. Let's say there's still a voice in you that says, my voice is not good enough. So when we work together, we're going there and we are meeting exactly that voice within you, because for me, it's a being, it's a little person that sits in you. And then we take a look, how does that voice look like? Maybe it's your mother, maybe it looks like your mother, maybe it looks like your father, but maybe it's just a fantasy creature. Maybe it's an old lady with a hunched over back And it's like, no, I'm really not good enough. I can't sing. I should never sing. Oh my God. And so we attend to this beautiful being, and we put her on the inner stage in the spotlight. And then we allow her to express herself. And we allow her to have a song. And it could be a song that's like, I'm not allowed to sing. And then we're creating that, and we're singing that out, and and therefore then we're creating a new room for a different song. Maybe that song could be called I Want to Sing Out Loud, or this is now very, I'm very simple right now the way I'm describing it. But for me, it's always, I love to work with impersonations of things, because then a lot of times it's easier, for me at least, it was always easier to let it go, to forgive, and to be compassionate, to become more compassionate with that little being in there that has stage anxiety.
Absolutely.
To be more compassionate, with that little being in there that thinks, I'm gonna die if I'm gonna speak my truth. And to really start falling in love with that. So that is kind of like, one of the parts of my method. And it's very intuitive, because I have this big tool bag. It's literally, everyone who comes to me, it's literally individually, I'm following my intuition, I'm seeing what's needed, what is the best way, because also not everyone resonates with fun. There's also people have come to me where it's like, it took a while to get to the fun part.
Yeah.
To work in different ways, right? And so, so I would say fun, curiosity, playfulness, silliness also, like literally, there's a lot of shaking and lip rolling and, really kind of like bringing it in the body, like making the body fluid, allowing ourselves to let those emotions, whatever it is, move through. And
wonderful. Wonderful. I really love the fact that you're using all aspects. It's all aspects of the body as well, because a lot of people are disconnected from their emotions, and we need to inhabit them, to understand them, to look them in the face in order to make peace with them. So allow them to express through the body. That's so, it sounds very much like a somatic approach, and it's very beautiful, and it's so needed right now for both women and men. I love that.
And I would say really, I did it a little bit like 10 years ago, where I did these beautiful group programs with women all in person. And recently I started it also online, but also again in person in Hawaii, where I take, a group of maybe 10 women, and then we do a lot of fun exercises and all of the different movements and everything. And then at the end, I'm asking everyone what they want to bring into the world. And then we're creating songs on the spot for each person. And then we're creating like a big song with everyone. It's a really amazing and empowering experience, especially for people who always have that judgment about themselves that they can't sing and they're not musical. And then at the end, it's like, oh my God, what just happened?
I wanted to ask you, actually, what are some of the changes you've seen in the women who have gotten to sing their song? What does that produce in them? What does that generate in them when they actually go through your exercises, go through your retreats, and they get to understand, design, and actually get to sing their own soul song?
I mean, it goes from everything to, it goes all ways, right? I'm like leaving their toxic relationships, going, like following their dream, traveling and moving to the other side of the world. I've seen women really just stepping more into their power of, wow, I feel so much better about myself. I can finally make the phone call I always wanted to make. I can finally have that heartfelt conversation with my mom that I never was able to have. Like really just coming more into the truthful expression of who we are. And the fun thing with that is it has an effect on every element of your body. I have, for example, one of my recent clients, she was trying to get pregnant for the longest time. And, and there was me, and there's also, when you look at the physical body, I was kind of like really just working with her on that. Look, your throat and your womb deeply connected, and then again, talking about talking about the fun element, you know, talking about, well, and now it's like your throat and your vagina deeply connected, right? So now let's give that a sound. Let's do it. Let's create room. Let's create space to receive. And then we did all these beautiful exercises and everything. And the thing is, I'm not taking credit for her in the end getting pregnant, but I believe that it had definitely was an element of her journey.
Yeah, she liberated herself.
Where she liberated
through her voice
from being so tight and tense and obsessed about it, to then, you know, doing these exercises that I gave her, you know. And when she called me about the good news, you know, she's like, oh my God, you know, and I was like, well, I'm not really taking the credit over here. I'm just really happy for you, you know, that I could be part of it, you know. And if you want to blame me for that, I said to her, that's great. I'm taking it.
I love it. Some of the best coaches I see out there in the industry are those who are humble enough not to take credit actually for the changes that they get to see in their clients, because ultimately at the end of the day, it is them doing the work. It is each of us doing the inner work. Somebody can be a catalyst. You can be a catalyst for somebody to unleash their voice, but it's not like they get to actually act on it. And they get to reap the rewards and the benefits. So I love the examples you just shared, because at the end of the day, ladies, this just shows the benefits of voice coaching. In case you have never considered it, this is a new element of the industry I see growing more and more, the voice coaching and the self-expression. It's recently come into my reality as well, and I understand now the value of it and the benefits of it, because as you were sharing, it's not only with regards to how it impacts our business and our messaging, our expressivity, and the way we formulate our offerings in business, but it impacts really our body. It impacts the way we relate to others, when we repress our voice or not, and it impacts our relationships. It impacts what our body can generate. So amazing. And I love the fact that you talked about the connection between the throat and the womb. And the throat, we did yesterday a brief meditation to balance our energy centers. The throat is one of the major energy centers in our body, and it was repressed for women for not centuries, millennia. For millennia. So it's so important that we are taking this journey of deconstructing the limiting beliefs around this area, around the throat and around our voice. We are deconstructing the limiting beliefs and rebuilding our confidence, rebuilding ourselves up and ourselves. We get to feel the benefits of singing, of expressing ourselves. I love that you encourage women to sing, Lucy. It's so important. Yeah. I was told, and I'll share a very quick story. I was told in early school by a teacher that was evaluating like the voices of kids, like, oh, maybe you could fit into a choir, but maybe not now, give it a try later. Guess what? I forgot to give it a try. And I always thought that my voice is not good enough. Yeah. And no matter what anybody told you, you have your own beautiful voice and your unique frequency, your unique signature that Lucy knows how to also make unleash. So I want to invite you ladies at this point, before I do have quite a few other questions for Lucy, but I want to actually pause and please type in the comments yes if you are resonating with the topics we're discussing right here, and if you're resonating with the journeys that we're sharing, and or type other questions that you may have. I'm inviting you to start asking questions to Lucy if you're curious about her journey, if you're curious about her methods and methodology and the way she works with women. So Lucy, I know that it's also important for us as women. We've talked about it and touched upon it several times these days, to look at how we deal with our emotions and our emotional well-being. We looked at emotional, physical, mental, energetic well-being. And I know you're recently resurfacing from a not so easy moment in your own. Well, not so easy is an understatement. I just realized it. One of the foundational journeys that we actually all go through in this lifetime, I will say, and this is the journey of grief and loss that none of us is spared of. So I want to acknowledge you and share humbly how grateful I am that you're here. And what I want to invite you to do is to share here with Women in Vulnerability, what would be your advice to people who are dealing with grief and loss, and where to start with, actually, where to start from?
First, this would probably, this whole journey inspired me so much. I think it will be a whole journey for me to even share and express in many ways. But what I'm saying is, it's also about following the intuition, right? About 4 weeks, I had this deep intuition that I have to go home because my father was not doing so well, and I was aware of it. It was for the last 4 years he had a journey with cancer. But he was doing very well. It looked very good. It looked very promising. But this year I felt just like an unease, and I could feel like I couldn't really plan anything. And I was like, something is up. I cannot really. And then up to the point that even my husband was saying, I think you have to go. I was like, oh, but I was in resistance again. And anyways, I received the phone call. Okay, your father's in the hospital. Your mother fell down the stairs. Everything is like crumbling. You gotta come. And I was like, okay. I was on the plane. I was traveling for 28 hours. And in those 28 hours, what was profound was I was very calm. Everything worked out perfectly. There was no delays. There was no nothing. The people on the plane, everyone was so nice. And there was, at the same time as I knew I'm going to enter my nightmare, because my nightmare was always that my dad is going to die. I always thought, wow, my dad is going to die. I could not survive because my dad was my hero. And I was on my way, and I knew that I'm entering that nightmare. And yet there was already then, when I'm thinking about it now, there was already a weird form of joy attached to it, which was so weird. And I arrived, and I had 2 weeks, basically. The first week he was in the hospital, I was taking care of my mom. I had to call the emergency for my mom because it was literally, I was like, oh my God, jet lag. I thought my mom is going to die. My dad was in the hospital in his last breaths. And I almost thought wow. And what happened was I grounded myself so deep within, or something grounded. I feel like I was really kissed and touched by some grace that I have always searched for. Like every single course, every single thing I have ever signed up for was to experience what I have experienced in these last 4 weeks. And I would have never imagined that I could say that with my dad being gone. And I had a week where I visited him in the hospital. We took him home. We had another beautiful 5 days where I could take care of him. I had never, ever imagined that I could, I was someone, I fainted when I would see blood, and here I was washing my dad, helping out. I mean, it was just, it was beyond. For the first time in my life, I felt strong. I felt like there was something awakening that I had never known that it was there. And even to the day, and it was just the day when he got admitted to the hospital again because it was so bad, I knew that I'm not gonna see him anymore. So I kissed him on the forehead and I said goodbye. And it was a new moon. It was the 30th of July, that Friday night. And so for me, I did a fire ceremony with a couple of close friends. And while we were doing the ceremony, I had an image where my dad was holding me at his hands, and he was flipping me around like those helicopter thingies.
Mm-hmm.
He always did that with me as a child. And then there came a moment when, very loud and clear, I heard him say, "I'm so sorry, I have to let you go now."
Yeah.
Off my hands. And I burst into tears and I cried, but at the same time, there was such a relief. And I went home and I could hardly sleep that night. And the next morning I received the phone call that you just don't want to receive, right? That no one of us wants to receive. But I was so prepared in my own ways. And I had to tell my mom. It was so humbling. It was so profound. And there's so much healing with my mom. We're expressing things that we maybe have never expressed before. There is so much magic and so much divinity in this. The way we are creating the celebration, we're not doing a typical funeral. It will be with music. It will be, we got him like a beautiful light blue urn with butterflies. And I mean, because when I went to see his body in the hospital to say my final goodbye, I came outside and there was a little butterfly on the steps, and the butterfly didn't move. And I sat down and I started filming the butterfly, and I sang my dad's favorite song, Blackbird, to the butterfly. And the butterfly stayed there and started flapping its wings. And so I could see the colors of the butterfly. And then while I was singing, the butterfly turned around and, looked directly into the camera. And then I said, I love you, Dad. And that was kind of it. And since then, so much sweetness has shown up, so much help and support. And what has really helped me, and I encourage, what has helped me is music, is humming, is sounding, is going into nature. How many times in the last 4 weeks I just walked through the fields. I walked into the middle of a cornfield and I was screaming to the heavens, Then another time I would just go into a beautiful forest and hug a tree and just cry and say how much I miss my dad, So allowing myself to fully feel it in all of its capacities and everything, to feel the sadness and the joy, to ride those waves, because grief for me travels in waves. It hits me in moments when I don't expect it. And the same way I have these moments of utter joy where I hear my dad like making jokes and I'm like in this joy that he's finally free. And so if any of you is going through something like that, just the connection to nature, to earth ourselves, if we can, barefoot on the ground, take a beautiful bath with maybe some music, with bird sounds, nature, forest, thunderstorm, whatever it takes, but express it. If you need to mourn, let it out. If you want to scream, scream it out. If you need to punch a pillow because you haven't forgiven something, you wanted to say something, say it, write it down, sing it out loud, go on a mountaintop and just say it. That's what I would say.
Wow. I'm like just getting so many chills all throughout my body right now. And thank you for so vulnerably sharing that story, Lucy, and for you showing up so vulnerably and authentically just really a few days after. So with all my heart and soul, I want to recognize you and honor your beautiful lineage of both the feminine and the masculine in your family, because at the end of the day, we are made of both.
Yes.
We are the seeds of both, wonderful seeds sprouting out of both our moms and dads. And isn't it beautiful, the songs that you get to to see and notice even as he has ascended.
Yes.
So yeah, for anybody wanting to follow, because I know I've been reading your Instagram posts and in Facebook posts, and they really speak about the journey, and they are truly, truly inspirational stories. So for anybody wanting to follow at a deeper level, what you have been sharing recently, I just posted the link as well. And Winnie is saying, thank you for sharing that. Really, thank you, Winnie. Yeah, we're all in resonance here to support Lucy and to I really want to congratulate you for the grace and the love and the deep reverence that you hold for your dad, and the beautiful ceremony that you have prepared. It's so beautiful that you're honoring his spirit all the way through, and it is for sure felt. Towards the end now, and only if you feel like it, Lucy, I wanted to invite you, if you feel like sharing any particular meditation or a taster for women who have joined us here. Or maybe a song, anything that you feel like sharing. We are so graciously and lovingly receiving from you, because as women, it's so important for us to open up to receive with our hearts full. Oh, I'm just going to quickly read a comment from Facebook. Love Kim is sharing, oh my God, I just bought a book about human design a few days ago. And she's sharing that your story is so, so beautiful.
Thank you. Yes. Dive into it. It's going to change your life, the human design.
Yeah. Kim is joining, if I'm not wrong, from Korea. So beautiful. Thank you, sweetheart, for being here with us today. And all the women that are now watching the live or the replay.
Perfect. So it's going to be just a quick little soul uplifter for all of us. And again, just honoring also my dad with this, because this is the new guitar that my dad gave me for my birthday, which was my first birthday without my dad. But my mom and I decided that he's gifting me a new travel guitar. So
beautiful.
Here we go. Okay. And may we all in this time of great transition and change on this planet, may we all honor always the light within ourselves, and also the darkness and the shadows and the valleys. May we remember our truest truth, which doesn't have to be truthful for anyone else. You came here with a beautiful message. You came here with a song. You came here with a sound. You came here to be who you really are, always have been, and always will be in your core. There's really nothing to add to you, because you are already perfect. Just the way that you are, made of 1,000 stars, a winged creature, wise, gracious, always remembering that you are indeed a part of the mosaic of humanity. And I'm calling you, and I'm calling you, I'm calling out your name. I'm already falling for you, I'm falling for you, and I'm calling out your name. You were meant to shine, you were meant to stand in the light, you were the open wide. And remember that love is the only way. Love is the only way. Love is the only way. Remember why you came here. Remember your life. Remember your beautiful starlight. Tell me, are you a dragonfly, a lullaby, or a rising star? Who are you and who do you wanna be? Wild and free. And love is the only way. Love is the only way. Love is the only way.
Whew.
Yes.
Ooh.
One second.
Yes, yes. Oh my goodness. Are you feeling this, ladies? Please, please type in yes in the chat if you're feeling the resonance of this song.
Give me 1 minute.
Yes, of course. I'm just gonna check in with the ladies. Winnie is sharing on Zoom. Indeed, love is the only way. So beautiful. Ladies, I could feel this deep, deep, deep in myself, this beautiful transmission. And Love Kim is saying, oh my God, I'm feeling it. Yes. Yes, it was so. Denisa is sharing that it was so beautiful. Mariana, my mom, bless her, is sharing as well that it's so beautiful. She's on the live. Hi, vibing. Oh my God, the comments keep coming on Facebook. You can check it out after. It's like, hi, vibing, so beautiful. Deborah Chong is here with us as well. Hi, love, so good to see you. Really, really, with all my heart and soul, Lucy. I'm like, you're such a gifted storyteller. The way you share your story, the way you encourage others to share their stories vulnerably, the way you just naturally express what our souls know intuitively, but maybe sometimes find it hard to put into words. Whew. This song, this song, ladies, I want to make it the official song of the self-love and self-growth, this edition of the Mastermind. This has been so beautiful. Thank you for sharing your medicine with us, Lucy. Was there anything else you wanted to add to this?
Just feel free to reach out. Feel free to connect with me on Facebook, Instagram. I think we have in the chat here, or you will probably share it. You can see me on Instagram, Spotify, Lucy Lynch. You find my music, my meditations, and swing by if you feel called. If you feel like I resonate with this butterfly woman, reach out. You can unleash your voice and share your story.
I love it, love it, love it, love it. And actually, I do see you as like a true soul artist. And I know we were very much sometimes in the mind these days when we're talking about the business, but you're helping us, Lucy, truly, truly drop into our bodies, which is where the big changes happen at the cellular level. And I really want to congratulate you and honor you for that, for embodying with such grace and such sweetness the feminine in your unique way. And what we were sharing before, actually, that every woman has her own unique way of embodying and expressing the feminine. There is not just one way. Each of you standing here and listening to this and watching this either live on the replay, you have your own unique way of expressing the feminine, your unique embodiment of the divine feminine.
Yes. Thank you.
So yeah, we both want to honor and see that. So feel seen, feel held. The more you will dive into Lucy's songs, you will find such richness and depth and generosity of spirit, and you will feel seen and held. I guarantee you.
And by October, there will be 64 Gene Key songs. You can then get those connecting with your profile. So it's going to be very exciting.
Beautiful. So you'll have your whole profile, your whole human design and Gene Keys profile actually expressed through music. And music is actually very healing. Just to share that science has advanced so much today that they've discovered that some of the diseases can start to be cured through certain musical tones and frequencies.
Yeah.
So music is medicine as well. Woohoo! I love it. So I think we're going to wrap it up for today. I'm just going to read a few more comments coming in. Deborah Chong is saying thank you on the Facebook Live. Love Kim is sharing, I love your butterfly. And she's adding you up on Instagram. I will have to review all the parts that she missed because she wasn't here from the very beginning. No worries, sweetheart. The interview is available for lifetime. So you can rewatch it on the Facebook group. And such a joy, such a privilege to have you here with us, Lucy. So many blessings on your way, on your path for you and your beautiful, beautiful, blessed family. And your husband as well. Your husband must have been probably nearby as well in this.
He hasn't so far, but he will come from Hawaii. He will arrive this week.
He's journeying to be there with you. So beautiful. The divine masculine is joining the divine feminine. Woohoo! So on that note, on the reunification note, I'm gonna leave you for today, and thank you once again, Lucy, with all my heart and soul for your beauty, your generosity of spirit, and your kindness and your grace, and to all the ladies participating today. Kisses.
Aloha. Bye.
Aloha. Bye bye.